Have you ever held out for the absolute perfect option, only to watch it slip through your fingers and end up with something way worse? Or maybe nothing at all? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into today through one of Aesop's most timeless fables, the story of a proud heron and a lesson that is just as critical now as it was thousands of years ago. So let's just dive right in with the big question, the one that's at the heart of this whole thing. Is your constant search for perfect actually costing you something that's perfectly good? It's a question that honestly hits us in our careers, our relationships, pretty much all of our biggest decisions. We're going to start by really looking at this idea, the peril of perfection, because it's a hidden danger, right? It's this trap that's baited with our own high standards, and it can actually lead us to make choices that are completely against our own best interests. And to really get it, to understand this peril, we've got to go back to the source. So let's dive into the legend of the heron, a simple story about pride with a lesson that is just so powerful. Okay, so picture this. Our story begins on the bank of a beautiful stream. A heron is standing there, totally poised, totally focused. The water is crystal clear, and it is absolutely swarming with fish. I mean, there is an abundance of opportunity literally swimming right past his feet. But here's the thing about our heron. He is exceptionally difficult to please. He sees all these smaller fish, and he just scoffs. You know, his self-image, his pride, it's telling him that he deserves only the absolute best. So he decides to wait. And this is where the consequences of that waiting really start to show. As the morning sun gets higher and hotter, the fish do what fish do. They retreat to the cooler, deeper water. That abundance from the morning, it was just temporary. The window of opportunity was closing fast. And this just perfectly illustrates the real cost of his pride. He passed on perfectly good meals, the perch, the tench, all because he was chasing some idea of perfection. And then, by the afternoon, with all the fish gone, his hunger forces him to eat the one thing he would have completely scorned before, a single, tiny snail. So what can we really learn from the heron's big mistake? Let's break it down. Let's look at the anatomy of this bad decision and see how a simple fable can reveal a really powerful flaw in our own thinking. You know, what the heron was suffering from is something we can call perfection paralysis. It's a classic case of the paradox of choice. You've probably felt it. When you're faced with so many options, even really good ones, the pressure to find the single best one can be so overwhelming that you just freeze. You do nothing at all, and you let all the viable choices just slip away. When you look at the symbolism here, it's incredibly clear and so powerful. The heron, that's our own pride, our inflated standards. The fish, those are the good, real, fleeting opportunities that are available to us right now. And the snail? Well, that's the humiliating compromise we're forced to make when we wait too long and all our options run out. So the crucial takeaway here is understanding the specific mistakes he made. First, he thought the good times would last forever, a classic mistake. He let his ego get in the way of a practical need. He was way too critical of his options. And maybe most importantly, he totally overlooked the value of just securing a good enough win. It's a cognitive bias, really. The fear of missing out on a perfect fish felt way worse than the actual risk of ending up with no fish at all. Now, of course, this isn't just some ancient story. The heron's lemma plays out all around us every single day. Let's just look at a few examples of how we see this in the modern world. Think about the job seeker. We've all seen this. Someone who turns down several good, solid offers because they're holding out for that one perfect dream job. But then, as their savings start to run out, the pressure mounts, and they end up having to take any job they can get, one that's often far worse than the opportunities they already rejected. They passed on the perch and ended up with a snail. Or what about someone who's looking for connection? They meet good, kind people, but they hold out for that one friend who aligns with every single interest, every single belief. They often end up feeling isolated, and then they settle for any company at all, even if it's unfulfilling or draining. Oh, and in the world of business, this happens constantly. A company holds out for a slightly better price, maybe a few more percentage points, convinced they have all the leverage. They wait too long, the market shifts, and poof, the deal vanishes completely, forcing them into a much weaker position down the road. So this really brings the question right back to you. I want you to take a moment and just honestly ask yourself, where are you playing the role of the heron? In what area of your life are you letting good, viable opportunities pass you by while you wait for a perfect one that might never even show up? Okay, so recognizing the problem is the first step.
for sure. But the next, and honestly the most important part, is learning how to actively choose the good before you're left with, well, the snail. And here's a pretty simple framework to think about. Step 1, be honest with yourself. Are they really high standards, or is it just pride in disguise? Step 2, pinpoint where you're delaying action. Where are you waiting for that perfect moment? Step 3, look at the options right in front of you and really appreciate their true practical value. And finally, step 4, take action. Choose the pragmatic win over the self-defeating, arrogant loss. If you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this powerful mantra. In times of need, and here's the kicker, we often don't realize we're in a time of need until it's too late. Practicality will always, always serve you better than the impossible standard of perfection.
So we end right back where we started, at the stream bank. For you, right now, in some part of your life, the fish are in the shallows. The opportunity is there. The sun is climbing higher in the sky. The question is, will you act or will you wait?